everyone. My name is Jason Gardner. I was rummaging through. I have two kids, ages 5 and 8 years old, two boys. And if you know what it's like to have two kids, the amount of little toys that get thrown around and just gathering in little corners of your home just starts to pile up. And I was looking at a couple of pieces. I didn't know what they were from. But my son said it's the weirdest thing. He said it came with like a Ouija board kind of game. So I wanted to show you this because maybe you can understand what this is. And I had a couple of thoughts about this as well. I'll share. But basically, this is one of those things where it's a pointer. Can we see this well? I just want to make sure you guys can see this. My name is. Let's make sure it's there. We go. It's one of those pointers where you point to different colors. On the chart, you spin it and stuff like that. But the weirdest thing about this was when I took it and I just spun it around once. It pointed in the same direction. And I asked my son, I said, Lucas, what's going on here? He says, I don't understand. It's weird, Dad, but just go with it. Go with it. That's what he said, just go with it. And I took it and I spun it around and it actually pointed the same direction again. And I started thinking about this for a second. I said, well, what does this have to do with my talk today with you guys? And what it meant to me was that no matter what direction we choose, as long as we start our day the right way, we're going to end it also in a good way. So the way we start our day is how we end our day. And if we point our GPS in one direction, no matter what happens, as long as we set that intention, we're going to still point the right direction. So that's what this meant to me. I hope that means something to you. And this is really weird. I don't understand how it works. Let's get right into it. I just wanted to share that with you. My name is Jason Gardner. That's me hanging upside down. That's me as a little kid. I'm an escape artist, magician, a drummer. That's me hanging out doing magic with a deck of cards, entertaining a few people in Canada. And let's get right into it. That's what I do. I'm also founder of Radical Shift Coaching. And as Josh said it perfectly, I really do help people escape what's holding them back. And I give them the tools and structures they need so they can get further in their life as quick as possible. And one of our mottos of Radical Shift Coaching is that we want to simplify transformation. Transformation does not have to be difficult. It can be really simple. So why are these test tubes up here right now? What I'm about to share with you, I've tested out, and I've spent a lot of time and money to figure out what is the best routining you could do for your day, how you start your days, how you end your day. And basically what I'm asking you today is to listen to what I have to say, listen to my words, listen to my structures, listen to my ideas and hacks, but test it out. You don't have to trust anything I'm saying. Try it out, see what happens for you, and then use that data to come up with your own conclusion. Often it's said, if it's not your experience, it's not your truth. So I really like for you to experience these things and come up with your own truth. And this way you'll know that it works for you. Otherwise, it's just words. So please take the stuff. It's all stuff you can do for real. And you can get started literally tonight with the information that I give you today. Move on, Josh. Thanks, Josh, for doing my slideshow. All right, so let me just quickly move forward on my notes as well. What am I going to talk about? Real simple. I'm going to talk about morning and evening routines. As I said with this little piece, how you start your day is how you end your day. So if we set our day up correctly, we can really, really get ahead of our day and have a better day than we ever had before. We can go to bed with the same feeling, that great, happy feeling, and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Cool. Moving on. We can get right to the good stuff. Okay. So this is dating myself. I wanted to throw that in there. Does anybody know this reference? Good Morning Sunshine. If you do, then you know what I'm talking about. It's from Hair. And so let's get right to this. The first thing I want to talk to you about with your day is that when you wake up, it doesn't matter when you wake up. It really doesn't matter. Some people are night owls. They like to sleep late. As long as you're not, getting in the way of other people's agendas by sleeping late, it's okay. Sleep when you got to sleep, wake when you got to wake. But the first part of your day is all about your agenda. It's all about you, okay? So what I mean by this, there's a great metaphor of putting the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child on the airplane, right? You hear that every time you fly. And what that means is that you got to take care of yourself first so you could be, first of all, you can be ready. You can be feeling good about your life so then you can be that way for others, okay? That's how transformation works. You want to help someone else, take care of yourself first. Transform your life and therefore watch your partners, your friends, your coworkers change, okay? So these are the things that can happen. I mean, you've got telephone calls, you've got emails, you've got all kinds of stuff, the crying kids. You've got to find time, you've got to be relentless about giving yourself freedom in the morning for your agenda. So here's some things. Don't check the email, okay? Don't look at social media. Don't make phone calls, all right? Have someone be with your kids, or as I do, I've got a 5 and an 8-year-old. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. because I want to give myself my time for my agenda, because when my kids wake up, it's all about them. And let me tell you something about this. When I wake up early and take care of my own stuff, which we'll talk about in a moment, there's no resentment for other people's agenda later on in the day. Right? So when my kids need me later on, I'm feeling fine. I've already done my day. I've already won the day. We're going to talk about that too. I've already won the day. I've taken the time for my own self, and now I'm available for others. The same applies at work, right? If you've got your day job and you've got a dream job, and you wake up early in the morning to take care of your own dream job and do the work that it takes, when you get to your other job, your non-sexy job, your day job, you'll be fully there because you don't have to worry, you don't have to be unpresent, you don't have to worry about your own thing. You've done your thing. Now you can be there for others. So I cannot stress this enough. Your agenda comes first, not theirs. Moving on. So what do we do in the morning? Okay, I'm going to give you some real tools and some things you can actually do that will optimize your day, okay? So the first thing we do is gratitude, okay? When you wake up in the morning, what are you grateful for? Spend at least, give you a number here, 17 seconds per gratitude and come up with 3 things that you're grateful for. Now, the reason I say 17 seconds is that there's a few things behind that, but let me just say simply, we don't want to just gloss over something really quickly. We don't want to say, oh, I'm grateful for my heart beating automatically. Okay, next thing. No. Let's take a moment and think about our heart that beats many, many times a minute and gives us life. Right now, it's happening. That's amazing. And I can feel grateful and I can feel appreciation towards that. And I just spend that moment right now, as we're doing, to change my state into a state of gratitude. In a few more seconds with this, I've hit that 17-second mark, then I can go to the next thing. So gratitude in the morning. Start your day off right. What are you grateful for, right? Things that are like the fact that our Earth is exactly the right distance from the sun and the moon, and all that stuff is creating exactly what we need to live. That's something you can be grateful for. You can be grateful for your ex-wife who's really giving you a hassle, who's hassling you. But you know what? That makes you be a better person, right? So therefore, you can be grateful for that. You're a better person because of the situations and challenges in your life. That's something to be grateful for. 3 things that you're grateful for. Cool? So the next thing is really important. And the reason why it's in this place in the day is because you're setting yourself up for a peak state. And when you're in a peak state, you're thinking about possibility. Your future is much brighter and you're happier, right? So how do you get into a peak state? My favorite way to get into a peak state is dancing, okay? Now I live in an apartment, so I will dance with my body, and I'll get a sweat going, but I'll try not to bang on the floor. I'll try not to wake the neighbors if it's early in the morning. I'll put headphones on, but I'll dance for a good 5 to 10 minutes and really get that blood flowing, really get excited, and really get the movement going, okay? You can exercise. You can take a fast walk, right? You can bike, right? You can do, Tony Robbins has a priming exercise where you do some deep in and out through your nose, in and out, in and out, in and out. There's other ways you can get it, but you need to get to this place where your energy is really is up, is excited. When you're that place, now you're in a peak state, okay? We'll go to the next one. The next one is future self. So now when you're in this peak state, you're feeling really good about yourself. You're feeling possibility, and you're leaning into the probability of what might happen. That's great for you. And wouldn't it be nice if something really great happened? You start feeling positive and happy and fruitful, right? You know, that things are going to happen. They're in process. You start thinking that way, and now's a great time to take out your journal and start writing about your future. writing about where you are now and where you want to be and how you're going to get there and all the details. Get specific. Bring in all your five senses to tell yourself, how's it going to feel when I get there, right? Any way that you can, bring in and write down and put out your future self. By the way, you don't have to write it down. You can record a video. You can record an audio. You can just speak out loud. Here's a quick little hack. It's kind of funny. I give to my clients. You walk around outside with your headphones. They're not plugged into anything. And then you could do all your future self talking out loud and no one really knows the difference. You know, back in the day, it was kind of weird to see people talking, walking down the street. Nowadays, it's not really that weird. Everyone assumes you have a Bluetooth or something in your ear anyway. But if you're feeling a little self-conscious, but you want to do the exercise and you don't have time to do it, you can literally put on a pair of headphones and walk down the street and start talking to yourself about your future, your best, most compelling, most exciting future. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about future self. We're talking about leaning into what's most exciting for you, okay? Moving on. Now, the next thing is you've set up your gratitude, right? You've gotten to a peak state, you're feeling good. Now you're thinking about your future in the most exciting way. Now it's time to get granular, and let's look at your day itself, okay? Now this is actually circular. This is actually going to feed into your evening routine, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what you're going to do at this point is you're going to take out your calendar, and you're going to look at what you're doing that day, okay? The best way to have a great day is to get in front of your day, is to visualize everything that's happening in detail once again, just like your future self, bringing in all five senses to create a movie in your mind of what your day is going to look like. So let's break it down for a second. So you say you have a meeting with a potential partner, client, right? Could even be a date. But what you'll do is imagine all the details. Imagine what you'll be wearing. It might be the same day, you might be wearing the same thing. Showing up to the office or to the restaurant or wherever it is, right? Walking in, seeing that person, greeting them in a wonderful way, in the way that fits with that situation, professional or casual, right? But really leaning into that. Getting a picture of what that looks like, the environment, what it smells like, even if there's any scent that you could taste in the air, getting some specific details. And now imagining the conversation or the business agreement or whatever it is, and imagine it happening as best as possible. Imagine all the details. Imagine what you would say and what they would say. Imagine finishing the whole thing up. Imagine walking away feeling successful and knowing that you've created that, whatever it was that you wanted, and you now have it. That's the way that we get in front of our day. It only takes about 30 seconds to do something like that, maybe a minute if you really want to go deep. So do that with each thing in your day. Get in front of your day and then see what happens. Here's the real magic, and that's why I call it the magic of routines, is when you start to do things like that, you'll notice how similar or exact those experiences are to what you've visualized. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So you can play around with that. Okay, moving on. I'm going to go quick through we're running out of time, and I always go long, and I'm going to do my best to give you time for Q&A. So listen, the next thing, we're going to go into evening. Okay, and I'm bullet pointing this stuff for you. There's a lot of information. Feel free to get in touch with me afterwards. I'll give you details in the Q&A how to do all that so we can continue this conversation. Okay, good evening. It's time for the evening. Evening is really simple. We don't need to do a lot of things, and this is what I found to be most helpful. So the first thing, Josh, move on. The first thing is appreciation and wins. So my friend Scott gave me this phrase, what magic did I create today? So I'll ask myself every evening, what magic did I create today? What were my wins for the day? Okay? In a moment, we're going to talk about creating the action step for the next day. So you'll actually have an action step, 1 or 3 things that you're going to do that will bring you closest to your biggest dreams and goals. And that will offer me the thing that you won or that you did. And then you can acknowledge, hey, I did it. If you didn't have that, you can acknowledge being alive, being healthy, being communicative with your lover, showing up as best as possible, or even just asking yourself this question: what magic did I create? The fact that you're even showing up and asking yourself that question and becoming aware, more aware than you were yesterday, is a win in my book. Okay? So what magic did you create today? What were my wins for today? You really want to write that down. You want to acknowledge that. You want to give yourself that gratitude towards yourself. The morning was about gratitude towards the world, people, places, things. In the evening, appreciations and wins, gratitude towards oneself. Okay? Moving on. Here comes the single most important ritual routine that you can do. If you take away one thing, this is it. Before you go to bed in the evening, you want to think of your biggest dreams and goals, and ask yourself this question: what is something I could do tomorrow that would bring me closest to those biggest dreams and goals? What is something that would move the dial, right? What is one thing that I could do that would be the cascade correction, big phrase there, the one thing that I would do that everything else would fall into place? The one thing that I'm doing that I'm not doing that I should be doing. The one thing that I'm afraid to do. The one thing that freaks me out. The one thing that I'm scared to do. That's the thing. Write that thing down, the thing that you know you could do that would be a game changer. Write it down in the evening. And the reason you do this is because in the morning, when you wake up, you're going to look at that. And you don't have to worry about thinking about what you're going to do for that day. Okay? So you're just going to basically show up and do that thing. And then when we talk about your win for the day, that was your win. If you did the thing you said you were going to do, that's the win that you would acknowledge. Last thing real quick is a digital sunset. Actually, two more things. Consider a digital sunset. I do 7 p.m. Everything goes off. It all goes off. Everything goes off. Black screen, nothing. Time for books, time for family, time for communication, engagement, real-time stuff, okay? So consider a real quick, simple hack of getting rid of any problems in the evening is just turn it all off. And the last thing, which is a big topic, but I'll just say this: fall asleep feeling good. Fall asleep thinking about your future self. Fall asleep thinking about the best case scenario of your life. Spend the time during your dream states to think about, to have something wonderful happen. Okay? Do your best not to fall asleep angry or worried or depressed or concerned. Instead, hopeful and happy and promising and supportive and engaged and loving and kind and all those things. That's a great way to fall asleep. Anywho, thank you very much. I can't wait to do Q&A. We can go a little bit deeper on this, and I've got an offer for you guys. Real quick, The Houdini Effect is an ebook of mine. It's out now, so thehoudinieffect.com. You can go there. It's totally free. And if you get that book, you'll also get an invitation for a call with me. We call it a discovery, clarity session, breakthrough session, and we can kind of just talk about your future, where you want to be, and why you're not there yet, and how we can get you there as quick as possible.